Hi YouTubers, my name is Joshua Desjardins.
And my name is Timothy Kirby.
This is my boyfriend. And we just wanted to send a video and make a video for the It Gets Better project. What was probably the hardest thing about you growing up and who you are?
I don't know. I would say growing up I'm from Virginia. I'm from a small town called Danville, and with a very small town mentality. And it's just growing up thinking that you're so different. Was definitely hard for me. It was one moment where you thought really felt like I was totally alone. And, I grew up in a very conservative Christian household, so it was very difficult for me in the beginning because, for one, I was just realizing or questioning. I was like, why am I not interested in talking about girls like all of my other friends? Why am I it was just very weird, especially coming from a very small town, and it was very hard for me because I felt like I had no one to connect to.
For me, high school wasn't so bad for me. I think the worst for me was middle school, where I ironically wasn't picked on by my students I didn't get along with. I was actually mostly picked on by a lot of my actual friends. And I feel like my friends picked on me for being gay, even though I didn't admit it at the time. But that was really hard for me. And I know at points I was also suicidal because of it. But it did get better
Yes.
for me. I know high school, once started to find those group of friends who accepted me for who I was, even when I did come out, which wasn't until college. I went back and told all my high school friends who I'm still friends with many of them. I'm still even friends with those guy friends who picked on me in middle school. And I told them and they said, "Yeah, Josh, we know you're gay." So I mean they they always accepted me for who I was. And whether you find those friends in high school or whether you find that special someone later on in life, it happens.
Growing up in a very small town, feeling like I was all alone. It wasn't until, after high school was over with, and trust me, high school was horrible. Like, I basically, every single day, because I had no friends. I mean, I basically had no friends because was no one I could connect with. I ate lunch by myself in a teacher's office. I mean, in a teacher's classroom for 5 days a week, while I was doing my homework. I used to pack my lunch because I didn't want to go to the cafeteria because kids would pick on me. So, having to deal with like 4 years of basically alienation and friends that I thought I had, like in middle school, once I started to get into things like, or they started to realize that I was into things like dance, into things like musical theater, they started to alienate themselves from me because they didn't want to be associated with someone who obviously was gay or is gay. And so, like, being or feeling very alone during, out my 4 years, I've definitely say I've contemplated suicide many, many times. But, I just knew, that it was going to get better. And it is. And it did.
The best advice I ever received was one word, and that was wait. Just wait. And because things will get shitty and they will get shittier, I will be the first to tell you that. But when you wait, they do get better.
Yes, definitely.
I feel like they can only get better because things get bad, and they get hard. No one said life would be easy, but for those of us who wait and those of us who see that it does get better, it's because we waited. Sorry. Did you get it? Wait. Wait, you have to wait. In college, I did have a friend who committed suicide. It wasn't because he was gay or anything. And to this day, honestly, we still don't know why. But I will tell you, for those of you who have thought about it, who have tried it, um, if you are still here, thank you, because you have no idea what it, how many people love you. I mean, I could probably name 50 people who love me right now. Yet, if I were to leave this place, I am sure 200 people would be at my funeral. And we just don't realize, just because we don't see certain people every day, whether it be family or certain friends, it doesn't mean that there's not people out there who love us and care about us. And it was one of the hardest things I've ever had to deal with, and losing that friend. And you've just seen the amount of people who came to support him after he did move on. People still write on his Facebook, and his name was Robert Sambursky. If you want to find him, he is out there. And it really does affect many people around you. The other thing I want to talk about is family. My family was very accepting. My brother is also gay, and my parents love us both to death. Um, but family is also what you make it. There are unfortunately some families out there who will not accept their children for who they are. And you know what? That's their loss. But their family is what you make it, whether it be a group of friends or just whatever people comes to your life, that can be a family. I live in New York as well with I live in a house in Queens with 6 roommates. There's 6 of us all together, and that is a family to me. We come home. We share our lives every day, and we share our beliefs and values with each other, and I could not be more grateful for them. So whether or not your friends or family accept you for who you are now, there are people out there who you can call a family, and I believe that for everyone.
As soon as I left high school, went to college, it was just a whole nother world opened up to me. I met people that were more like me, or who, aligned the same interests, people who were gay. I made like tons of friends, and even people who were straight, who were very, and who accepted me for who I am. And I still have those friends to this day. And even when of course I moved to New York City, it was like the world just, oh my gosh, the world just came to me. It was like I feel like I'm still living a dream right now, because just basically growing up in that environment, that which was so intolerant, to growing up and being out on my own in an environment that is very much accepting, and having friends and making friends that are totally accepting, gay, straight, bi, trans, whatever, that are totally accepting of my life, not lifestyle, my life.
Mm-hmm.
That it's definitely, definitely wait it out. It's definitely going to get better.
Yeah.
And when you do find someone special, it just makes it it makes it definitely
Worthwhile.
worthwhile. I know it feels like right now that you
like
just can't go on. You feel like that you don't want to go to school. You don't want to even step outside your house, let alone your room, because you feel like the entire world is against you. Where the world out here, the world, is much more accepting than how you may feel right now. I just want to reiterate, it does get better. It really does.
It will get better.
It will get better.
We promise.
Yes.
So thank you for listening, and please just keep watching these videos, keep spreading the word, because it will get better. If you believe it, it will get better, and we believe it will get better for you. So thank you, and we love you,
Yes.
and yay.
Yeah.